All right. Good morning. Good morning. Well, that last one was a little weird. We got started there and then something was weird with the camera. It was giving me all kinds of weird signals there. So we had to start it over a little bit there, but we're off and running here. So wait for a couple of people to pop on. I think this morning is going to be a topic that a lot of you guys enjoy. Relationships are everything, guys, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to make them better, about how to, really manifest those relationships that are going to change your life. And that is, it's such an important part of life that I think that a lot of times people, underestimate, don't really spend enough time investing their time into building relationships. And, I'm going to tell you how that has helped me in my life. And I'm going to tell you a couple of tips on how you can do it every single day, how you can commit some time to making that happen for you and growing meaningful, impactful relationships that will eventually take your life to whole new levels. And I'm going to give you guys some examples of exactly how that's happened for me. And I think this will be a good one that you guys will get a lot of takeaways from. So if you guys have a minute, please smash that share button, share it out so other people can hear this message, so they can, get this information and improve their own lives in addition to improving yours. That's what we're on a mission to do here every single morning at 7:30 is impact some lives. So if you guys could help me by sharing this out, tagging some people, just sharing this show in general, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, it's on all the podcast platforms. Just share those things out for people. And that's the way that you can repay me for doing this every single morning. This show doesn't cost anything. But what I would ask you is just to share it with people in return for the value that hopefully you get here by tuning in every single morning. I want to say good morning to some people here. Dean, what's happening? Chris, Justin, Mike, Patricia, Justin, Dayton, my wife's on here. Trisha, what's happening? Adam, Glenn, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Mike Bosnick, my dude. That dude was like my friend in like the fourth grade, I think. He's on here watching, so appreciate you guys. So here's a couple of things about relationships, guys. Number one, if you're not spending time every single day, like truly investing into the relationships in your life, and this isn't just business, it's not just personal, it's every relationship. And so you got to be tuned in to other people and actually truly be interested in what other people are doing, truly be invested in helping other people get better. And that's how your life will get better. Your life becomes more fulfilled by what you are able to do for other people. And that's the truth. You will feel a lot better about yourself, a lot better about your life. Your life will feel far more fulfilled by investing your time to grow meaningful relationships. And the way that you do that is by truly being interested in what other people have going on. So some of the things that I wrote down when I was thinking about this morning's episode here is make sure that every single relationship you have, that you focus on that relationship being 51%, 49% at a minimum, that you're giving more than you're taking, that you're listening more than you're talking. But 51-49 is the rule. Any relationship that you have in your life that is greater than 51-49, right? That somebody is always doing the talking and never doing any listening, never giving you an opportunity to ask for advice, never giving you the opportunity, never getting the opportunity to pick your brain, to talk to you about the challenges that they have going on in their life. Anytime that happens, guys, that relationship, will not ever be a fulfilling one. It will never develop into something real. And at the end of the day, it will not last. That's how it works. Relationships that are built just on the surface, just convenient for the moment, they don't become real, meaningful relationships with someone that you can rely on, that you trust, that you feel like you can go to in any situation in your life, right? If we think back to the best leaders that we've ever had. Good morning, Ken. How you doing, man? Good morning, Mike. bunch of people jumping on here. Jesse Rennick, what's happening, my man? But if you think back to those relationships with those people that you've had in your life that are the most meaningful, take your bosses, for example. I would bet you that the bosses that you've had the best relationships with were the ones that listened to you the most. The ones that guided you through some challenges that you had in your life, and not just the challenges that you had at work, by the way. Any challenge, you felt like you could take it to that person. The people in your family that you are closest with, they will help you through any situation without being judgmental, without, making you feel uncomfortable or making you feel bad for the situations that you're going through. They will listen. They will give you advice. Those relationships are 51-49. 51%, they're giving, you're giving, whatever the case is. And sometimes that flip-flops, right? But the reality is, guys, people love to be heard. They love to be listened to. They don't love to be talked at all the time. So when you find yourself doing more talking in a relationship than listening, don't expect for that relationship to last very long, unless that person's asking for your advice. And even then, you have to pause, ask them for feedback, try to get them engaged in the conversation, and try to get them engaged in what's going on. Because ultimately, if you're trying to help people, the only way that you're going to truly be able to help them is if they are involved. Not that you are talking at them, but they are involved in the solution that you are presenting, and they're bought into that solution. The second thing that I wrote down here is bring value to those around you. I was having a conversation last night with one of my friends, one of my close friends, and we're talking about his product, and we're talking about how to sell that product via video, right? How to create videos that are meaningful, that can really communicate what that product is. And it comes down to this, guys. The value in most situations that you can bring to people comes from the pureness of your mission to help them. In his case, his entire product was created to help people. But sometimes when we're marketing products or when we're marketing ourselves, we're saying things that we think people want to hear instead of just telling the story, just telling the truth, just telling them how we got started, why we got started in the first place. My man Vito is on here, right? He owns a restaurant down in Florida. If you talk to Vito about his restaurant, the reason that restaurant is successful comes pouring out of him without him thinking. He's not thinking about how to market that restaurant. It's the passion that he has for that restaurant, for serving people, for the family experience, for the convenience of the deliveries that he does with the food. Like, everything that he says is the real story. It's how you bring value to people is in the purity of your mission. So in my world, the purity of my mission, how I establish close relationships with my customers, with my employees, is because of the mission that we started out with on day one. What was the mission that we started this company with? It was to give people a better place to work and to give customers a better option in every aspect of how we do our business. You know, in the construction world, there's not a whole lot of companies out there that try to be fully transparent, try to be progressive, try to drive technology so that communication is at a different level. All of those things, guys, are the valuable things that build closer customer relationships, closer employee relationships. When you're talking about the value that you can bring to relationships in your life, it starts with you listening and truly being interested in the customer, in the other person, in what they have going on. For me, when I'm trying to sell a customer, the first thing I have to do to be able to provide them with a solution to their problem, which is selling, is I have to understand them. I have to understand their company. I have to understand what their mission is. And make sure, by the way, that their mission lines up with ours. Because if we don't believe the same things, we will not be successful in building a relationship. So think about that, guys. As you're trying to build value into the relationships in your life, the number one question you have to ask yourself about the people or person that you're trying to build a relationship with is, does this person actually share the same values as I do? If they don't, if the answer is no, you're probably going to have a hard time bringing them value because they don't believe what you believe. If they don't believe what you believe, it's going to be a really, really tough relationship because what you think is right, they think is wrong. You ever think about that? If anybody has that going on in their life, smash some likes down there. Leave some likes or hearts and tell me that you've got that going on in your life. I guarantee you do, because I have those people, right, that I try to help. I try to, I try to show them a different way. But most of the time, guys, it doesn't work out because most of the time people don't change that much, right? We can try to guide people in the right direction, but the reality is that those relationships have to be based on sharing the same values. But if you find those people that share the same values as you do, I see Keith Calloway on here. That guy came into my life like it's like a blessing to have people that you share the same values with. Why? Because they believe what you believe. You can advance yourself so much faster in life by having people around you that you can pour into. They're going to pour back to you in a different way or in the same way, right? It's a collaborative effort. But those relationships, if you don't invest the time to make them happen, then you will absolutely not be able to live a fulfilled life. Without relationships, guys, why are we born into families? Why are we put on this earth in groups called families to coexist? Because we need other people. I want you to think about what life would be like if you were on this earth with nobody around you. There was nobody else here but you. And how fulfilling that life or path would be. And then think about how often you actually spend time pouring into those around you. How often you spend time truly sitting down and asking your wife, your relatives, your coworkers, your people that work on your team, how often you ask them, how are you doing? And actually listening. What are you looking to accomplish this year? What are your goals? How have your goals changed from last year? By the way, is how we've been coaching and training you, has that been okay? Are we falling short anywhere? Anything that we could be doing better? The more that you make things about the other person, the more value you're going to get out of that relationship. 51-49, right? Some of the other things that I wrote down here, guys, relationships that I've established, and some of those, a lot of those have been right here through social media, right? Relationships that I've established have led me to the books that have changed my life. Literally have changed. I've read books that have changed my life. Relationships led me to meeting my wife. True story. One of my close friends here in Pittsburgh is how I met my wife. Relationships led me to get on social media. That's the reason I'm sitting here and know all of you guys. Those relationships helped me get started in social media. It's true, guys. And if you don't pour into the relationships, the friendships, all of the things around you, the people that work with you, if you don't take time to build those relationships, man, you are missing out on incredible amounts of fulfillment and happiness in your life that you can't even describe. The relationships that I have established in the last handful of years are literally what keep me going every single day, wanting more, wanting to do more, wanting to help more people. Everything about those relationships is why my life feels the way that it feels. Because guys, let me tell you something. It makes no difference how many zeros or commas are in your bank account if you don't have anybody in your life that is meaningful. Relationships outweigh financial gain by 10,000 times. Because guess what, guys? If you lose all of the money that you have, or you don't have any to start with, it doesn't matter. If you lose it all, you're starting from zero. Guess what's going to help you grow faster, get back to where you were, get to where you want to go? It's the relationships around you. And I'm telling you, if you guys actually audit yourselves and look at how much time you're spending in your own life every single day, how much time you're spending pouring into other people or listening or asking questions of people. Let me give you guys some tips real quick on sales and how that connects to building relationships in the real world. Ready? What's the number one thing that you have to do to create a successful sales interaction or sales process? It is asking questions. The person with the most information has the highest likelihood of earning any sale. I use this analogy when I'm coaching construction people, and I'll tell it to you guys because I think you'll understand. If I am bidding a job, and jobs come with blueprints, right? Like plans, sets of plans. And some sets of plans are 50 pages. Well, if I'm bidding this job and Bruce Pulver is bidding this job and I get 50 pages of the plans, but Bruce only gets 30 pages of the plans, who is more likely to win that job? It's going to be me. I have more information. I have more detailed information that will help me be successful. Because I don't have to guess at anything, right? It's the same exact thing in the relationships that you have in your life. If you don't understand those people around you, how are you going to impact their life? The first thing you have to do is understand those people, and that comes from investing into them by asking questions of them. How are you doing? How are your children? How is this happening? Let me give you some perspective on how I've been through some of the same things you've been through so that you feel better. You feel more normal. You don't feel so alone. Relationships, guys, make us not feel alone. I can tell you from experience that the worst feeling that people go through in their lives, the worst moments that people go through, it's because they feel alone. Those relationships, guys, if you can be there for a person in those moments, you'll have a friend for life. You'll have a person that values your opinion, that values your perspective, that values who you are as a human being for taking the time to be there for them when they needed you. You'll have them forever. I'm telling you. So I'm going to end on that, guys. I got to jump out here. We got to pave this lot that I'm sitting in right now today. It's a little chilly out here this morning in Pittsburgh. It is currently 38 degrees outside, which is pretty chilly, but it's supposed to warm up here in just an hour. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope this was valuable to you. Please pour into other people. Remember, 51-49 at a minimum. Give more than you take, guys. And you will never, ever, ever hurt for relationships, hurt for friends, anything like that. Just be a good listener. Listen to other people. Be truly interested in who they are, what their goals are, what they're trying to accomplish. Be there for them when they need you, and you'll be on your way to living a much more fulfilling and great life. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please, again, share this out if you get a moment. Tag some people that might need to hear this, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning right here, same place, same time. Love you guys.